out, a quick pit stop for a delicious breakfast, and you're good to go. You're going to smash this presentation. Whatever your story, this is a great place to start. Premier Inn, Premier You.
Wi-Fi T&Cs apply. Breakfast prices and options may vary. Exclude certain locations.
The secret's out. Ray Morris Automatic Cars have been selling cars for over 50 years. With ultra-low mileage automatic cars from £5,000 to £25,000, they have the make and model to suit your budget. Ray Morris Automatic Cars in South East London, 10 minutes from the Dartford Tunnel. With over 300 automatic cars actually in stock, buy one today and drive it away. AutomaticCarSpecialist.com, the not-so-secret home of automatic cars.
Steve Allen on LBC. Text 84850.
Morning, everybody. Nice to be company. Welcome to Monday morning, 20th of February. Apparently, Phil Vickery says, years ago, my milkman got done for being over the limit. They towed away his float. Do you remember the days when they, and I don't know now, I'll have to ask Kevin about that, Phil, whether or not in the early days, the floats were battery operated, so they were silent coming down the street. The only noise you could hear was the milk bottles rattling in the metal crates, but now I think it's all plastic. But still stuff gets pinched. People feed from milk floats when you're delivering. You're all exposed, aren't you, really? But yes, I always remember the milk float coming down the street, always remember it. And I always remember you could get little bottles of orange squash, which we used to have at school as well, and the little tiny milk bottles, because it was supposed to be good for you. And now they tell us it's not good for us, but I do like milk, as you know. Although we've only had the expensive milk, only on a couple of occasions. I'm too frightened to drink it now because of the amount of calories. Steve says, Sarah, my old diesel van goes through the same emissions test as all the new ones, doesn't it? Yeah, I mean, I remember Nick Ferrari arguing this years ago, saying, wait a minute, I've got a Mercedes, I think he said, and he said, I could sleep with it in the bedroom. You know, it wouldn't be putting out any more emissions than anything else. And as we were told only the other week, the tube trains are pumping out all the filth and muck and everything else. So that's what's coming out. It's got to come up the stairs. You can smell tube trains when you go down onto them, and they're pumping it out. My car's not pumping it out at all. But to have to pay for it, as I say, just penalises poor people who can't afford to change their cars. Not good, is it? The Daily Mirror, my essential easy guide to staying young and feeling great, says Dr. Miriam Stoppard. She's 79. Well, I mean, she must have had work done. It's not physically possible to look like this at 79, even with healthy eating and exercise and all the rest of it. Your face just goes. I mean, she's plumped up. Her face is plumped up. I'd love to find out. I mean, I should imagine most people say, I haven't had any work done. But you can't look like this just through a bit of exercise and eating properly. It's not physically possible. Your face does age, whether you like it or not. Also, the hero boxer who was carjacked, this is Michael Watson, he says, we will find the thugs who attacked me. Yeah, I'd leave it to the police, okay? Which would be better. The Guardian this morning, a danger British negotiations are unable to compromise and we will head for a crash landing. The child refugees have the hopes raised as the Home Office reviews the Calais cases because it's emerged that several child refugees have returned to the site of the former Calais camp in a renewed attempt. So in other words, we're back where we started again, which is what we predicted some time ago. Kraft Heinz walks away from the fight to buy Unilever for £143 billion. You can imagine why some people who've only got sort of 800 million think they're poor when you compare this one here. Front page of the Telegraph, UK troops to prevent Afghan meltdown. Europe faces new refugee exodus if Britain pulls out of the war-torn country. May facing the business rate split in the cabinet. It's going to hit the high street badly. There's going to be closures left, right and centre, I promise you. I mean, really bad, really bad. Busy week ahead was liked by my friend Danny. It's a busy week, isn't it? Very busy week. I've got 2 interviews to do today. I've got comedian Mark Thomas, and then I've got Russell Howard as well. Never met either, which is always interesting as far as I'm concerned for in conversation. All I know is that Mr. Thomas is very political. Can't wait to ask him about Donald Trump. I think he's off touring again, and Russell's touring as well. He's the right price for his price bracket, I think he says. Other things here, why you must move to the left, Attenborough back with a new look at sea life. They've attached cameras to all sorts of things swimming in the sea, and so you can see exactly what it looks like. I mean, it's going to be fantastic, isn't it? We know it's going to be fantastic, as indeed they always are. Although I'm surprised they don't get people complaining, you know, what do you mean attaching cameras to animals, to orcas? Yeah, with stickers, they can have it like a sucker, and it will stay on there. Whether the thing can dive to its usual depths, I've got no idea. The Times this morning, lies fueling the revolt over the rates, insists Ministers, number 10 on a collision course with small businesses, because they are the ones who are going to suffer. You know, if you're a little business and you just sort of you have to make a lot of cups of coffee, then you'll be making even more coffee and getting probably less money for it. The SAS troops spearheading the liberation of Mosul. The Unilever deal is off. Council tax to go up, all but 4 of 151 local authorities planning to raise council tax by up to 3% to fund social care. I mean, do we have to fund social care? Why can't they sort of cut back? I mean, we had a council that seemed to waste money left, right and centre. You know, they wasted money moving bus stops into it, and they didn't need moving at all. It was working quite well. It just means it's more difficult now for the sort of the high street. We've got crows they need to get rid of. They need to bring in marksmen to get rid of these things. The Eye this morning, May braced for Brexit defeat in Lords. Mandelson joins Blair in rallying resistance to government plans. Diane Abbott, she makes every paper today talking about the abuse that she suffers, but I should imagine there's probably loads of people, if you're in the public eye and you're a politician and people are not over keen on you, you're going to get trolled, although these people don't understand that in fact they can be found quite quickly, and that's what she should do. She should definitely give, you know, the details to the police and let the police deal with them and get them into court. There's name and shame, these people. Kevin the Milkman says we still use electric floats on rounds local to the dairy, but as the areas we serve get larger, half of us have to use diesel floats, as an electric float only covers 40 miles where it needs recharging. Right. Steve, you mentioned the latest attack on motorists with the London toxicity charge. If there is an increased level of pollution, it's entirely due to the queuing or slow-moving stop-start traffic situations created by the introduction of so many speed humps, 20-mile-an-hour zones, bus lanes and cycle lanes. Oh, I'm agreeing with you on all of that. That's it. But they don't understand that. They really, all they see is the motorist as the cash cow. The cash cow is going to be the one that keeps paying, because if you don't pay, and you don't pay the extra 10 quid or the 11.50 or whatever it is at the moment, you're not coming into town. It's as simple as that, because they're going to fine you. That's all they see you as. They couldn't care less who you are. They're not remotely interested if you're rushing to see your dying granny. They couldn't care less. They just want to make sure that you're going to pay. And you will pay. And they know that, because you can't actually do anything else. It's just so annoying. It really is. It doesn't happen anywhere else, does it? We just get it in London, where we're patronised by people. But there you go. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely fantastic in the long run. Not. Somebody else says there were 6 hospitals and 8 schools within 4 miles of where I live. Now there is 1 hospital, 3 schools, 2 supermarkets, and 8 housing estates, says John the cabbie from South London. It's awful, isn't it? They've gone housing mad in London. Housing mad. Wherever you go, office block, let's not rent it out to people, let's put flats in. So that's what they do everywhere. You come into London and all you'll see is cranes. Cranes building flats. Cranes building housing. Everywhere. Every tiny bit of land that there is available, they want to build houses on it. I'm sure it's probably the same in your neck of the woods, and we have to put up with it on a daily basis. And very shortly, you know, they're going to be building houses just all over the place. I don't think there's an area of London where they're not building houses at the moment. There's such an insatiable demand for it. And so people want houses, and so areas that were run down, they then sort of put up luxury flats, and then the poor people who live there kind of get shoved out a bit, and then they complain about the gentrification. Remember, we had a cafe that sold cereal, I think in Brick Lane, and the locals were up in arms. Fancy selling cereal to people. I mean, I was thinking, well, at least they're a bit more enterprising, those people who go out there. There's going to be a demonstration against Trump today outside the House of Parliament. I'm tempted to say avoid the area, because it might slow you down a little bit today as people stand there. I don't know why they're complaining about him down there. What's that going to do? Do you think he's quaking in his boots over in America going, oh my God, I can't believe it, there's a demonstration outside Parliament against me. Well, what difference is that going to make? Nothing at all. Front page of the Daily Star, Danny Dyer, truth about my dad. Danny is D-A-N-I. So she's Danny, he's Danny, and she's saying there's nothing the matter with him, he's just gone away for a little bit of a rest. Funny place to go by yourself, isn't it, South Africa? But I'm hoping it's nothing more. He's done nothing wrong. I don't think anybody said he'd done anything wrong, but he did quit booze at the start of the year, but he was seen drinking heavily at TV awards. I don't know, might have a problem with booze, might not have a problem with booze, who knows? All I know is the thing has built up almost, you know, like sort of the mountain out of the molehill kind of thing. It's got huge. It really has people interested in what's the matter with him, whereas I'm more interested in the family of George Michael coming out and saying to Faddy, of course you're welcome to the funeral. You were the one who reported his death. You were the one who was there to find him on Christmas Day, and you were with him for 4 years. I just don't understand why they're dragging their heels over this kind of thing. Or are they really going to ban him from the funeral? Because that really would be the ultimate kick in the teeth. I hope it's not true. I hope it's not true for George's sake, actually, because I don't think he'd want that at all. That's it for this morning. Thank you for your company. I'm back with you tomorrow morning between 4 and 7. You can download this programme a little bit later on. It can be available as a podcast. I have a free podcast as well, and you can listen to LBC whenever you want, wherever you are. Download the free LBC app for your mobile or tablet. Never miss a moment. Leading Britain's conversation at 10 this morning, James O'Brien. But before that, with breakfast, Nick Ferrari.
This is LBC.
Centres have been selling beds for over 40 years. With 5,000 beds in stock, our Sleep Centre specialists are here to help you choose the right one for you. And right now, every bed is reduced by up to half price, plus free delivery and free disposal of your old one. So to hurry, it's this month only. Hansy Sleep Centres in London and South East and online at hansies.co.uk. Conditions apply.
At 7 o'clock on Monday, February the 20th, Prime Minister facing business rate split in the Cabinet. It's getting tough with the introduction of the new rate.
It's feared business rate rises for nurseries could hit both them and parents hard. And LBC's Rachel Venables in Enfield.
The Brexit bill passes to the Lords. Will it be delayed?
But I hope the House of Lords will not throw in the towel early.
How children of alcoholics are ringing a helpline for bedtime stories. Diesel cars to be banned from London outright. Oh, plus,
You look at what's happening last night in Sweden. Sweden! Who would believe this? Sweden!
I'm pleased to report nothing happened that night, and as far as we know, nothing happened last night either. In Sweden. Sweden, of all places.
On FM, online, on your mobile, and on digital radio. Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
From Global's newsroom at 7 o'clock, it's claimed nearly every council in England which provides social care will be raising council tax to pay for it. They're allowed to increase it by 4.99% in April. Yvonne Johnson is a Labour councillor in the London Borough of Ealing. She says it won't make enough of a difference.
I don't want to be rude, but it's not anywhere near enough. Some people have described it as a sticking plaster, but really it's nothing.
The Local Government Association also says spending on libraries, leisure centres and even potholes could be cut to help fund care. The British Medical Association is warning the NHS is at breaking point. The doctors' group says a cut in hospital beds over the last decade is leading to delays in admissions and cancelled operations. Labour's Shadow Health Secretary John Ashworth says it is very concerning.
I think these are incredibly stark figures where our hospitals are virtually at capacity. Our patient safety is now compromised.
The government says the BMA report is based on inaccurate figures. Protests against Donald Trump's state visit to Britain will take place across the UK later. It's as MPs debate the trip after more than 1.8 million people signed a petition against it. Thousands of activists are expected at an anti-Trump demonstration outside Parliament. Zoe Gardiner is from the Stop Trump Coalition.
Well, it's funny, isn't it, that Theresa May is all about the will of the people when it suits her personal agenda of a power grab around Brexit, but she's not very interested in listening to the will of the people when millions and millions come out against Trump.
Peers are to start debating the Article 50 bill later. Around 190 are expected to speak during the 2 days set aside for the second reading debate in the Lords. Charities are calling for an increase in jail sentences for animal cruelty offences. They say the current 6-month maximum is shocking. Battersea Dogs and Cats Home, the RSPCA, and the League Against Cruel Sports wants the worst offenders to face up to 5 years. New research has found the UK has the 3rd worst traffic congestion in Europe. Drivers spend an average of 32 hours a year in traffic, with the problems worst in London. Russia is the most congested country, followed by Turkey. And Daniel Craig has become the second longest serving James Bond. He's had the role for 4 films over nearly 11.5 years, but he's still 2.5 years behind Sir Roger Moore, who played Bond in 7 films. The LBC Markets report. The FTSE 100 will start the day after closing up 22 at 72.99 on Friday. The pound buys you $1.24 and €1.16. LBC weather. A mix of cloud and sunshine through the morning, rain in places later. A high today of 15 Celsius. From Global's newsroom for LBC, I'm Rupert Bartier.
A great night's sleep. You're up with the lark, squeezing in some last-minute prep. Today is the day. Free Wi-Fi on. Figures downloaded. Nerves under control? Just about. A quick pit stop for a delicious breakfast, and you're good to go. You're going to smash this presentation. Whatever your story, this is a great place to start. Premier In, Premier You.
Wi-Fi teams are supply. Service prices not used by vary. Exclude certain locations. LBC Travel, good morning, I'm Joanne Webb. In Hertfordshire, there are delays on the M25 anti-clockwise to junction 24 at Porter's Bar, where a van broke down earlier. It's still slow from junction 26 at Waltham Abbey. In London, there are queues on the highway westbound from the Limehouse Link Tunnel to East Smithfield, where a lorry's broken down. And also in London, a car's just broken down on the South Circular Road. It's westbound right near to Dulwich College, and it's very busy on the approach. Long delays continue in Kent on the A2 westbound from the M2 up to the Ebbsfleet turn-off after an accident. And in Lancashire, there's just been an accident on the M6 northbound at junction 33 of the A6, and there are queues on the approach. It remains very windy in Scotland, so as a result, there are restrictions on the Keswick, the Skye, the Dornoch, and the Forth Row bridges. For more real-time traffic updates, go to lbc.co.uk.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Ferrari at breakfast.
Good morning. 4 minutes after 7 on Monday, the 20th of February. The row intensifies over that hike in the business rate coming up in April. We have a series of reports. They're just seconds away now. In other news, ministers fight for foreign aid to ease the Brexit. That Brexit debate now moves to the House of Lords today. We'll have full details on that. Plus, backing away from one of the biggest deals of all time. That's Kraft and Unilever. But now, it's not to go ahead. Oh, and I have checked. Nothing happened in Sweden last night either.
Nick Ferrari at breakfast. Call 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Nick Ferrari at breakfast on LBC.
What was Donald Trump thinking? And I imagine we're going to be saying that a few times down the next few years. But on to other matters back here at the UK. 2 front pages, 2 big conservative newspapers as well. Conservative supporting newspapers, I should say. The Daily Telegraph and the Times. May facing business rates split in the cabinet is the front page of the Telegraph. A similar theme for the Times. Lies fueling revolt over rates, insist ministers. It is getting ugly. Business rates date back to Elizabethan times, more than 400 years, initially brought in so that the local destitute could be cared for. Well, the way they're being implemented now, there's a possibility they'll actually be made destitute themselves because of the massive increases that are coming. Some 1.8 million UK businesses are liable, and you're looking at some instances of hikes, not just double digits, 65 to 70% hikes, and a total change in the appeal system, which makes it very difficult for businesses to feel that they've been ruled against to take any form of action. We've got a series of reports, but first, let's talk to someone who always helps us with matters of commerce and business. Digby Jones. Now, Lord Digby Jones is, of course, a crossbench peer, former CBI director, trade minister, and global businessman, and I can say he's a good friend too, so I'm allowed to call him Digby. How ugly could this be, Digby? Morning to you, sir.
Yeah, good morning to you, Nick. Morning, everybody. It could get very ugly. What's got to be understood is not so much the increase, because there hasn't been one since 2008. What it is the speed and the immediacy of it. You know, it's going to go straight from X to Y, no transition, no feeding in, and it's the most enormous. Anybody listening to this who isn't in business, just think about the fact that your council tax, it'll be the equivalent of that nearly doubling overnight. That's what this is about. The problem you've got, and LBC is listened to all over the country, Nick, so it's important this is made clear, is that because it's linked to the value of your property, If you're north of, say, Birmingham, possibly a little bit further north, you're probably going to see a decrease, or at least not much of an increase. If you're in southeast England, you're going to see, as you just said in your intro, an enormous increase. So this is another north-south divide issue. This is another, the people are saying, oh, why are the south bleating? The people in the south saying, just a minute, we generate the wealth, why are we being penalised? It's going to be one of those. So it's not just, oh, we can afford it, let's just pay it. This is about a lot of social issues and a lot of geography issues. And then if I was a small retailer, not so much office or industrial unit, although they're hit just as much, but if I was a small retailer in southeast England and in London today, and I was facing this, every day I go up against Amazon. Every day I go up against online sales. I go up against online retail. And I don't have a level playing field with them at the best of times. And now, is Amazon going to be paying an increase in the rate other than their warehouses, obviously? But are they going to be paying an increase on their shops and open? They're going to have any. And therefore, if I was a small retailer battling it out in the high street, I'd be thinking, why don't they do something about online which gives us their competition to them? And as you said, this is going to run and run. And I'm not too sure it's all political. I think it's a lot more social and economic. The Tories have got themselves, I don't think they've got themselves a poll tax, mainly because when Maggie had her poll tax, there was a certain person called Mr. Blair sitting there saying, ho, ho, ho. But this time there's no opposition really to fight the corner. So I'm not too sure it's going to be disastrous. What it is going to be is inherently unfair on the one group in our society that generates the wealth, pays the tax, that pays for schools and hospitals.
Former senior Conservative Grant Shapps is saying, and I'm subbing it down, the government should have sat on its hands. Can't quite work out why they've got such an appetite for it. Is he right, Digby?
Yes, I think that's true. I think you've got to increase tax on that 2008 to now, of course you have. You just got to bring it in more gently, bring it in more slowly, and deal with it more sensitively. All three things of which is remarkably absent.
Well, I've got the benefit of you on the line, and we haven't spoken for some time, so I'm going to hit you with a couple of other things, if that's okay. What will be the passage of the Brexit bill through the Lords, in your view, Lord Jones?
I think there's going to be a lot of heat and not a lot of light. I don't think there's going to be a lot of huff and puff. You're going to have the Liberals who are unrepresented. There are 100 Liberal peers, there's only 8 MPs. They're going to really go for it. I think some Labour will go for it. But at the end of the day, the Tories will be good. They're in a minority, but there'll be a lot of crossbenchers and a lot of Labour. And it has to be said this about Labour and the Lords, to be fair to them, is they never overrule, at the end of the day, the Commons. They have this very firm view that the Commons are democratically elected. They're the Parliament of the people, and their rule should be adamant. And what they'll do, I think, and I think, by the way, I think the Lords are good at this. They advise, they revise, they keep it distinct, but at the end of the day, they won't overrule. So I think what we're going to find after 2 days is a quality debate, and lots of people who know what they're talking about, but you're not going to find overrule. And by the way, if they do overrule the Commons, it'll be the shortest suicide note in history.
And lastly, you helped us a lot in the rocky days, indeed weeks after Brexit. You still, broadly speaking, Digby, happy with the progress the country, Mrs May, the team is making?
I definitely am. I've been around quite a bit around down in Asia and Australia in the last month on lectures and whatever, talking to government, talking to opinion formers, and I can tell you now, they can't wait to do trade deals with us. And what's more, this is Asia's time. This is Asia's century, and we are tailor-made. And I was thinking about the country. If you held another referendum today, Mr Blair, you would find exactly the same as you got on the 23rd of June. If more, I think we might just find not 52-48, but 54-46. I do not see this changing in the mood. And I get around. I don't just do the metropolitan elite. I go and talk to a lot of good quality people from lots of strata of society, and I can tell you now, it's exactly as you were. I think the government, if I was worried, I tell you who I'd be, a European. I reckon Macron is sitting there in Berlin going, oh, don't leave me alone with the French, please.
I know the feeling. Good speaking with you, Digby. Regards to you, Lord Digby Jones, businessman, crossbench peer, former CBI director, former trade minister. Let's put the flesh on the bones then of that story and find out what it's like for a business that is trying to cope with these raises coming down the line. It affects all sorts of businesses, from charity shops to some GP surgeries to pubs to bakeries, even to nurseries. LBC's Rachel Venables is at one now in North London. Rachel.
Well,
Nick, you join me here sitting almost knees to chest, I think, on the tiny little chairs, because it turns out there aren't any adult-sized chairs at the nursery here, Carol Jane's Nursery in Enfield. It's a lovely little space here. It's really bright and colourful, as you'd expect. We've got some finger painting up on the walls, which I have been really impressed with, I think, this morning. Around 26 children come here, and I'm joined by Carol, who owns the nursery. Carol, just talk to me a little bit. Business rates, it's going to have a big impact on you, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it's not too bad, luckily, for us personally, but across the country, I know nurseries are really affected. Some business rates have gone up from their normal rates to 50, 100% increase.
And nurseries, I mean, it seems really strange, as I've just described. I'm sitting here and I feel like I've gone back to school almost. I want to get the Play-Doh out and I want to have a good morning with some glitter. It doesn't feel like a business, but of course you are, and I know you guys have been struggling anyway. Explain to me some of the other things that you guys are up against as nurseries.
I mean, obviously the national living wage has gone up, so all nurseries have had to find extra money for that. The auto-enrolment for pension has been huge. Another big chunk has had to come out of the budget for that. The government want us to offer free places to children, so we only get £3.86 an hour to supply childcare.
Do you think nurseries should be exempt? Should they have a special dispensation for things like this?
I think they should. If the government want us to offer free places and not have to pass the cost on to parents, then yes, it's definitely something that the government could consider.
And how badly is it going to affect you? I think you mentioned to me already you think you're getting off all right, around sort of £100 a month increase. Where does that money coming from? Where does that money coming from? Because I imagine you guys don't have huge profit margins for places like this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we are getting off quite lightly, so luckily in Enfield we're okay. But across the country, I know other nurseries with 100% increases, they were paying £1,000 a month, now have to pay £2,000 a month, and they might not be able to pass that on to parents. So a lot of nurseries are going to be forced to close.
A lot of nurseries are going to be forced to close. That's the where I'll leave it here. Carol, thank you so much. There you are, Nick. That's the story. Not just businesses, if you've been mentioning, not just places on the high street, nurseries as well. In a few hours' time, this place is going to be full of 2 to 5 year olds, and other nurseries like this up and down the country could be forced to close because of the business rates rise.
All right, thanks. Rachel Venables reporting from that nursery in Enfield, 14 minutes after 7. Listening Adam Marshall, who's Director General of the British Chambers of Commerce. What is the Chambers of Commerce saying about this proposed increase in April? Good morning to you.
Well, good morning, Nick. I think the biggest problem here is that some businesses are going to end up having to carry the can for others. While they are winners from this revaluation, there are also quite a lot of losers. 500,000 of them, and I think it's the government's responsibility to try to do something to ease their pain. What we can't see is businesses like the one where your correspondent just was, facing those massive increases and still being able to carry on as normal. And sadly, both in the South East and literally all across the UK, we see a number of firms affected that way.
Where's it going to bite most, do you imagine, Mr. Marshall?
Well, it certainly bites on high streets, it bites for a lot of rural businesses as well, and quite frankly, it's all over the geography. I was in Aberdeen last week, where the revaluation means that companies are going to be paying on sky-high valuations carried out before the oil and gas sector crashed back to earth. That's not right. This is a tax that's not really fit for purpose. It's an upfront cost for lots of businesses, and it stops them investing because they're paying for this rather than investing in their businesses.
Lastly, I don't know whether you heard, but Lord Digby Jones was saying you have got to increase taxes. People understand that, but it's the speed and the means by which it's being done. How fair is that observation in your view?
I think it's extremely fair. It was time for a revaluation, but the notion that you could have 42% rises in a year is not correct. The notion that some businesses should be paying higher rates so that others can pay lower rates isn't correct. And it's time to bring this system into line and to reform it so that, yes, it's a system that collects taxes, but it's not a system that puts a millstone around businesses' necks.
Adam Marshall, thank you. You're Director General of the British Chambers of Commerce. We'll be hearing from the local authority side of this as well right after a news and travel update, and also to that Brexit bill on its way to the House of Lords today. Delayed, thrown back, some special tactics employed. What might be the future of the Brexit bill when it gets to the Lords? We'll look at that in more detail after the 7:16 LBC News headlines with Rupert Bartius.
It's claimed nearly every council in England which provides social care will be raising council tax to pay for it. The British Medical Association is warning that the NHS is at breaking point, and thousands of people are expected at an anti-Trump protest outside Parliament later. The LBC Travel News is next.
The most beautiful things in life are made up of many tiny but individually brilliant details, like the tinkle of piano keys. Sounds nice on its own, but better with a violin alongside. And better still, with a whole orchestra. You see, beauty happens when the little things come together. The new Volvo V40R design, now from just $199 a month, including maintenance with Volvo Car Leasing.
2-year contract hire agreement with an initial rental of £2,388. Offer ends March 31st, subject to status. Mileage and return conditions apply. Maintenance covers routine servicing, tyres, replacement parts and repairs due to fair wear and tear. Visit volvocars.co.uk for more details.
Pop in for a test drive today at Volvo Cars London. The Volvo V40R design. Life is in the details.
We're off now to Joanne Webb, who's waiting at the LBC Travel Desk.
Thanks, Nick. Good morning. In Hertfordshire, there are delays on the M25 anti-clockwise from junction 26 at Waltham Abbey to 24 at Potter Swat Bar, where a van broke down earlier. It's been recovered, so all the lanes are back open, but it's still very slow. And then also on the M25, but on the Kent stretch, there are long delays clockwise from junction 4 at Orpington to 6 at Godstone because a car broke down earlier. Anti-clockwise is all open as well, but extremely slow. Quite a few problems in London. Firstly, on the highway, there are westbound queues to East Smithfield, where a lorry's broken down, and then also on the South Circular Road, westbound queues to Dulwich Common, where a car's broken down, and then also in London on the North Circular Road, it's very busy westbound from the Kenninghall interchange to the Fall Street Tunnel, and that's because there's a load of pieces of wood all over the road. In Surrey, there's been an accident on the M3 southbound. It's just by junction 4 at Camberley, and there are long queues back past junction 3 at Lightwater, and in West Yorkshire it's very slow on the M62 westbound up to junction 25 at Brickhouse after an accident that happened earlier. For more real-time traffic updates, go to lbc.co.uk.
LBC through your workday with James O'Brien from 10. Follow.
That's all we're doing. That's all we're discussing. So is this. You wait 1 second because you're calling our reporters liars. It behooves us to do it. It behooves us to shine a light, and it behooves us to then ask questions. That is all LBC is doing.
This is LBC.
Using a phone whilst driving is illegal and incredibly dangerous. And yet, as those tragic news stories tell us, a frightening number of people still do it. You're the one ultimately responsible for the safety and behavior of your workforce. Romex Driver Protection helps to keep them safe, automatically removing temptation as they drive. Find out more and start your free trial. Search ROMEX World online. All roads lead to Romex World.
TfL and the Mayor of London are growing the capital's fleet of electric and hybrid buses. Their significantly lower emissions are helping to bring cleaner air to London. Great news for, well, basically anything that breathes when you think about it. For more information, search TfL Improvements. Transport for London. Every journey matters.
A new Vauxhall Vivaro comes with 4 years 0% APR representative, up to 4 years warranty and 4 years servicing and roadside assistance. It's easy to drive, easy on the wallet, and even easier on the eye. That leaves you free to do more of what you do best. Less getting the van sorted, more getting the job done. Search Vauxhall Vivaro. Conditional sale. 4 years 0% APR representative, minimum 20% deposit plus VAT and 20% on total price. Finance by Vauxhall Finance, subject to status 18+. T's and C's, mileage limitations and exclusions apply.
Work doesn't end because you're not there. It's always 9 a.m. somewhere. There's always a call to take. And business doesn't sleep even when you do. E-Receptionist lets you step outside the office and balance work with life. With E-Receptionist, calls can be directed to a landline or your mobile. So wherever you are, you're local. And with our unique app, you can dial out from your landline number with your mobile. Take a free 30-day trial at ereceptionist.co.uk. Cancel within 30 days to avoid charges.
Do you have a pension? Maybe you've got more than one. How do you know if they're in the right pension funds, making as much money as possible for your retirement? Answer is, you probably don't. At The Pension Works, our fully qualified independent financial advisors could add instant value to your retirement fund. Simply text the word yes to 83222 for your free Pension Works health check. That's yes to 83222 today. Your pensions